Movie night with JL Media is back. Hamilton 16 IMAX is where we're doing it. We're doing it live. The Great Wall tonight. Good, rich, quality theaters. Hamilton Town Center. Mandy Lou Who, our marketing director. Hey, I better turn your mic on.
You better turn my mic on.
I got the other guy straight, but I didn't even get you ready.
Look at forgetting about me again.
Some things are going on at JL Media today, are they not?
Oh, it is crazy.
It is crazy.
This week, I came in and told you, I said, this week has been an amazing week. I feel like it's been, email week and communication week with so many people. It's awesome.
It seems like every one of the shows are stepping off, and that's exactly what we want to do.
I'm so excited.
That being said, you about have to get out of that seat.
I do. You're going to kick me out, go and replace me. No, I'm just kidding.
You know you're my favorite, man.
I know.
We got to bring somebody on here.
I know. So excited. We got a new intern that joined our family, and let me just say that the relief that has come off of me that, she can help me get this stuff done. So we can keep you number one in Indianapolis.
Well, let's do it, Miss Mandy.
So,
Thank you.
So let me introduce Kirsten. So excited. Here she comes.
That is Kirsten. I got in trouble because I was pronouncing her name incorrect last week. Her boyfriend got all mad at me.
It wasn't my fault, Johnny. It wasn't my fault.
Hey, Kirsten, welcome to the family.
Hey, welcome to be back.
You've had a full day with me. We started out downtown filming scenes for a new video, a promo video.
Yeah, it's been a fun day seeing the life of Johnny Lyles.
This is how we do. We've got some guests in here today, don't we?
Yes, we do. I'm really excited to meet these guys.
I'm going to go ahead and introduce them before we bring Mitch on. We're going to bring him on in just a minute. Mr. Brian Smoot is to my right. Hey, brother.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Tell me about the band real quick.
Well, it's we started out, I guess it was with Mosey, and it's kind of funny how it happened. It was back in November. And
well, wait, we're going to talk about the whole thing. Let me just introduce him. That is to his right, Mosey.
Hey, what's happening?
That is Mosey. Now, when Brian was talking to me about the band, he said Mosey, and a few more emails, and I said, wait a minute, Mosey? He said, yeah. I said, that Mosey?
The Mosey MD himself.
And to his right, Mr. Derek Reeves. Hey, brother.
Hey, Johnny. It's great to be here.
You've got a very interesting past as well.
Well, some people might say that. Yeah, I'm the principal violist of the Fort Wayne Philharmonic, and product of Indiana, having grown up right here in Indianapolis. I'm a North Central graduate. Right now, I live and work in Fort Wayne, and I went to IU, Bloomington.
You're going to be number 3. I've cut everybody off on the show now. All my guests tried to talk, and I cut them all off.
You're just going to let me talk as long as I want, right?
We're trying to get in there.
Ramble.
We got a lot to talk about fitting in this hour. I love meeting these guys.
Well, I'll tell you, I play a lot of improvised music, and and I'm a product. Like I said, I'm a product of the Indiana University. It's called the Jacob School of Music. So I've still got a lot of roots down there, and my man Mosey, has a lot of roots down there, and so like our networks intertwined. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it's like how like the law of attraction brings people together. People that resonate on a certain wavelength.
I do know.
So I feel like we were just all like synergistically brought together.
Exactly.
I feel like these are my brothers from another. You know what I'm saying? Like we're all like musically kindred spirits.
That's how we all hooked up this weekend anyway.
Right.
That is. I tell you what we're going to do right now. We're going to bring the man of the hour in. Kirsten's going to get him for him when he's talking to the crowd over here and not paying attention. But that is our man Mitch that we're going to bring into the show now. So
I was like, what?
Mr. Mitch Ross, our buddy, he is the GM right here at Hamilton 16 IMAX, and he's a co-host on the show every time. Hey, brother.
Hey, how's it going?
Mitch, this is Derek and Mosey and Brian, man. They are the Summit Band, right?
That's right.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Now, Brian, let's go back real quick and talk about the Summit Band for a second.
All righty. Well, I'd worked with Mosey in the past, and I'd met him years ago when he used to do work for John Mellencamp, and we became friends when he lived in the Bloomington area. I had an idea for a CD that's been some years ago, and we produced that CD, and we got talking. Called him up out of the blue on a Thursday, and I said, "Hey, Mosey," I said, "I've got some ideas for some music." I said, "When can we get together?"
And this is in November.
And the law of attraction with Mosey, he said, I'm actually coming up there this weekend, flying in from L.A. And I asked him, what do you have a place to stay? And he said, well, I haven't booked a place yet. I said, well, you might as well come to my house. And that was the beginning of the Summit Band, which has just been unbelievable.
Yeah.
And when was that?
This past November.
Okay, so you guys are still kind of new.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because really the project started out being his solo project, but the characters that we had in the studio constantly creating these songs, we decided to make it a band because we all gelled together and the energy was wonderful, and it created these songs that has like new life and new energy in music itself. It really wouldn't matter what genre it's in. It's just the energy in the songs themselves create this like almost aromatic like feeling.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Now let me ask you something. Country funk, that is catching everybody and is an extremely catchy song, but it's grabbing them. I've listened to it 3 times since we've been sitting up here set up.
Awesome.
Shout out to Lulu.
Shout out to Lulu for that.
We're going to talk about Lulu and country funk and the Summit Band a little bit more. But first, we're back to Hamilton 16 IMAX and the Great Wall. You guys movie fans?
Absolutely. And IMAX fans at that.
There we are. Matt Damon fans?
Most definitely.
Okay, he's a good action star.
Oh,
This,
yeah.
Mitch, this is an action movie.
But he does it all so well, He's got acting chops,
He does.
Not. I mean, he's got depth as an actor, and he plays good action stars. I mean, that's a good 1-2 punch. If you'll forgive the pun.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
But this is a monster movie as well.
Oh wow. See.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely got a lot of different elements to it. This movie's kind of an interesting experiment by Hollywood. Matt Damon brings a lot of credibility to a project that I think probably would get overlooked by audiences if he wasn't a part of it.
Right.
But it's quality cast. Willem Dafoe is always amazing, and I think what the question is are American audiences ready for China? Because a lot of China's coming our way.
That's right.
But it's definitely one of those things that we're going to see a lot more of as the commerce between America and China is happening at such a rapid pace. China's very keen to have their movies hit the American market.
Yeah, as they should. I am a firm believer in the power of globalism in art. I think that indigenous cultures benefit so richly, from the open dialogue and exchange of ideas, whether you're talking about formal constructions or scale choices. Like the ethnic history, the shared ethnic history of the commonality of all music is something that mustn't be forgotten. But I'm old school. I'm so old school. I'm happy to see archery make a comeback. You know what I'm saying? I love like Game of Thrones and like Great Wall because archery takes some skill.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
It's a very zen pursuit.
I think we should maybe take him out in the country, out in the bluegrass, and let him practice some of that archery.
Mitch has us set up in here in the lobby in front of the big cardboard wall that is the Great Wall behind us here. And as you see from the pictures later, we're going to post on the page. Looks like Matt Damon's mad at me here. He's dead center, but
Just think of him as a Cupid, Johnny.
it is that time of year. How did it open last night? Numbers good?
It did okay. I mean, we're as always, we're get this spat of beautiful weather, which as a person, I'm very happy to have. As a theater manager, I'm like, man, people might barbecue this weekend instead of hitting the movie theater. I hope they come though.
I hope they know they can do both.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can do both.
There's 3 days in a weekend, folks. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, it's a very nice theater, the IMAX here in Noblesville. Super nice theater. So definitely anybody that hasn't been up here should come check it out. So
This is like the Bentley of theaters.
Definitely.
Not only
right there.
is the screen so much better than anything you've ever seen, but the sound is so much better than anything you've ever heard. So it really lets you benefit from the full experience.
Have you heard of the GDX system?
I have.
Oh my God! It's more than just surround sound. It's like surround sound on steroids. How many speakers in this one theater?
A bunch.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've got 60 speakers in that room or something like that between the
60.
ceiling.
Can you
Doesn't
imagine?
Chuck
behind
Zurek
the
have
screen.
one in the Performance Theater up at Sweetwater in Fort Wayne? I think they have one of those sound systems in the Performance Theater.
Yeah, I've been up to that studio before. It's really cool.
I've recorded there many times.
Oh,
I've done
that's
several
awesome,
albums there.
man.
And I tell you, it'll hold its own against any studio in the world.
Well, I'm going to
That's
go
right
right
here
to
in
the.
Indiana.
I'm going to go right to the center here with Mo Z. I'm going to wake him up. He's playing Angry Birds on his phone over there. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Make sure he's. I got your bio
The
pulled
angry
up.
tweeter.
I got your bio pulled up here.
Oh, okay.
What got you started in music? Period. At the age of 10, from what I see.
Well, actually, I got started in music at the age of 5. Apparently, I wanted to be Al Green, and I would perform in front of my mom and dad in the house all the time. And so my mom got me to perform at her high school where she was teaching, and I was only 5, and I had no shame, no fear, and I would sing, and at that point I had did one of the Michael Jackson songs with the Jackson 5, and I just kept doing it. And we were living in Mississippi at the time. That's where I was born, in Clarksdale, right on the Delta. And so my sister also was very good singing. Like, she was born, she was almost 2, couldn't really talk, but she could actually hold notes and sing like melodies. And my dad was like, oh my gosh, I got to get you guys to California. So we went to California, and by this time I was about 10, and he started grooming us to make it in the business. Like, our whole point, we would go to school, come home, and we would, practice and study everything that we were doing. If I was playing instruments or singing, whatever, we had to do it. If we were doing dance steps, we had to do it. So at a young age, I got a lot of strenuous, tutelage, I guess, and experience in performing with our family group. And we were singing like gospel at different churches and everything. So it just snowballed from there. I wanted to write songs, and eventually I wanted to produce, and I was a big Prince fan, and he played all the different instruments. So of course I wanted to play them all too. and so I kept going from there and ended up being with a production team and got a publishing deal, and was writing pop songs for Capitol Records and like Polygram, all these different labels.
Sure.
But then I wanted to branch off and do my own thing, so I started doing a little hip hop with some neighborhood guys that I grew up with, because I also grew up with Snoop Dogg, but missed the opportunity to work with him because I was doing pop music. So, but me working with this other guy at radio, he was signed to Interscope, and Tupac Shakur heard the music and wanted to work with me. So I started working with him and did, 2 different projects, Thug Life and Me Against the World.
Wow.
So from that point, he started having a lot of trouble, and he basically started going to death row. And I get a call from John Mellencamp wanting me to do some drum loops on his record. So they flew me to Indiana.
So Mellencamp pulled you from Tupac.
Actually, when he pulled me, Tupac was already gone, so I was a free agent.
Yeah. Well, let's back up and tell me about Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because I grew up in South Georgia, and I love all genres, and ELO and Earth, Wind, and Fire was heavy with me when I was younger. I'm not sure why.
Me too.
How did you get on stage with them? How did that happen?
Well, at the time, I was a musician for Edwin Hawkins, who sang gospel.
Right.
He was the guy that did Oh Happy Day, like in the 60s.
Oh, certainly.
Okay, so he had this seminar choir that he had different chapters of all over America. And on Earth, Wind, and Fire's album, Touch the World, they co-wrote a song together, and his family group were singing with Earth, Wind, and Fire on the album. But they didn't want to go on the road. So what they did was use different choirs that they had all over to sing their parts whenever that song came up. So I was just simply driving my sister to go and sing because she was in the choir, so she was able to sing. I was a musician.
Right.
They didn't have enough singers. So they were like, we need an alto. And I was like, hey, I sing alto. And I'm thinking it's a one-night deal, and I go in and do it, and had a great time, and it was too much for them. They pulled us to the side backstage and said, we appreciate your excitement, but you guys are doing too much. And You know, that was a sign that I was going to be a ham right there.
I've got a couple of friends here in the business. One of them sang with the Spinners or played with the Spinners a lot.
Okay.
And I never realized, you know, when the bigger bands would come to town, they would pick up local artists and bring on stage with them.
Sure.
And he wound up, you know, bringing over to my house the gold album. And I was like,
sure.
Man, that's just amazing.
Yes, I have an uncle who, when he was young, Bobby Bland, the blues thing, he would come into town, and my uncle sounded so much like him that he would always have him open up the shows and sometimes sing duets with him on stage, and he got pretty popular. But you know, he never went to a national level. But yeah, like just they would do that. They would use local talent to help energize, I guess, more talent in the area.
Yeah.
You know, I guess.
You've probably been asked this question a million times, but I got to ask you again. I got you on the mic here. What would you tell upcoming young musicians? Any advice you would give them?
I would say pay attention to your business as much as you pay attention to your art, because you could develop your art and be very efficient and very good at what you do, but you not knowing the business side will leave yourself in a position where it doesn't support you for a long period of time, because you have to think it's the music business, and it's really 90% business and 10% music. It's really so much red tape in the business part. If you don't know what you're doing, you'll get lost, and I'm speaking from experience.
Yeah, you see that, Mitch? It's as cutthroat as internet radio.
It really is.
It is movie night with JL Media. We're at Hamilton 16 IMAX, good rich quality theaters. We do this twice a month at least. We got some surprises coming up for you. We were doing The Great Wall tonight, Matt Damon's new flick. Mitch, the crowd is growing. The lobby is packing.
Finally.
Well, you know, I come in and set up so early and get everything ready that, you know, it's slow when I get in here.
Yeah, this is, I think what we're seeing here is some of that, the second week of 50 Shades Darker, so it's getting to be about that time.
Brian, that was interesting last week. We did 50 Shades Darker up here.
Yes.
And the ladies were out. The housewives were out. There was a group of 14 of them. I come in early, like I said, and I was setting everything up, and there was a group of 14 that come around the corner laughing and joking, trying to leave, and I looked them right in their eyes, and they all started blushing. like I knew what they were thinking.
Yeah.
You're like, what was that movie about exactly? Can you tell us a little bit?
Tell me about Mr. Smoot, Brian Smoot. You a local guy?
Well, I'm from Bedford, Indiana originally. I live now just south of Indianapolis between Martinsville and Monrovia. Moved up this way to I do contracting and was expanding my contracting business. And the music, like I said, we got with Mosey in November, has just taken off beyond any imagination. Super fast. And all my life I've done music as well. And I was telling Mosey the other night, I was like, you know, I think this was meant to be, because when I was like 10 years old, I think, on the playground, you know, those little spider things that you climb on?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and you can go underneath of them?
Yeah.
Well, I was a big John Mellencamp fan back in the day, so I'd take my boom box back then and I'd put the cassette tape in there and listen to some ROCK in the USA. Well, I thought I was already a celebrity at 10 and was out on the playground, so I got my buddies singing some backup vocals with me, and we're lip syncing along with the cassette tape, and we got some backup dancers following us, you know, standing on the playground, and I think it was at that point that it dawned on me, someday I've got to be a celebrity. And well, of course, we get sidetracked in life, and
Oh, absolutely. I had the same thing in my life in South Georgia. You know, there was a group of kids in the neighborhood. We would dress up as Kiss, not only at Halloween, but and we'd do our little thing. The only thing that stopped me from becoming a rock god, was a serious lack of talent. There's like none whatsoever. But
Nice.
the heart was there. It takes more than heart, though, Derek.
Yeah, heart and practice. Yeah.
So practice with you. How did it start with you, brother?
Man, I started playing the violin when I was 2.5 years old, and so it's just something. It's always been like an appendage, you know. And I started playing the violin.
You hear that, Mitch? 2.5 years old, he started playing the violin. And I'm impressed with the picture I have on me and my dad's lap with a beer bottle in my hand. That was my 2.5, and that's why Derek's where he is.
I'm pretty sure I was pulling action figures out of my nose.
I'm sorry, Derek. Go ahead, bro.
No, it's all good. No, I grew up in a musical military family. So my brothers and I were all born on different continents, but we moved to Indianapolis in the early 80s. I went to Fall Creek Elementary, Eastwood Middle School, North Central, IU Bloomington. Currently, I'm the principal violist of the Fort Wayne Philharmonic Orchestra.
Oh, nice.
And I'm a studio session musician. I'm a bit of a studio rat, and so I found out, I hooked up with these brothers like through, I think, a common love of music and recording, and just because creatives, like I said earlier, tend to kind of attract each other.
Speaking on that, let me interject on that real quick. I went to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra performance at the Bankers Life Fieldhouse in December, and like I said, Mosey had just went back to L.A. and we recorded a few tracks the first time he came in November, and so I went and watched the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and I've always heard they were amazing, and from the beginning to the end of the show, I thought to myself, I was like, wow, this is the most amazing live performance I think I've ever seen of any rock show, of any genre, of anything, with lasers and the electric violinists and so forth. And I thought to myself, I was like, man, it would be so amazing to be able to have violinists like that playing with me someday. And so this is the amazing part, talking about, the law of attraction and so forth. And so Mosey calls me up and he said, hey, my friend Lulu, who is also an amazing violinist as well, plays on country funk, she said, I'd like to introduce you to a friend of mine who's a professional violinist, and his name's Derek Reeves, and so she invited him down. He came down from Fort Wayne, and so I was like, well, who all have you played with? He started telling me, and he said, well, I played with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra in December at the Bankers Life Fieldhouse, and I was like, wow. Unbelievable, That's cool. And so at that point I was like, wow, it's really happening. And then Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, man.
How was that?
Playing with Stevie was unbelievable. That was the 40th anniversary of Songs in the Key of Life, and he was on tour with this band that you would not believe. How there are a few bands that have two drummers,
yes.
like Chicago or like the Allman Brothers. Well, Stevie had not only two drummers, but he had an auxiliary percussionist. He had a 7-piece bass band, wow. 13-piece orchestra, had a choir, and his normal roster of singers.
And Derek Reeves.
Yeah, I was helping to hold down the strings. But, it was crazy. That was also a Banker's Life. But the thing is, so you guys know Songs in the Key of Life, right?
Absolutely.
Double album. That's a lot to digest just on one sitting. And to think that this man, sat and recorded, not just recorded, but sang that entire album flawlessly, did multiple encores, was like a virtuoso on more instruments that I can name. And not only that, came out with the encores with instruments I'd never seen, and he had mastered those too. I was looking at the screen what is that? It was looked like a harmonium with like a cross between a harmonium and a hookah.
We do play spoons on one of the tracks, so that was kind of a unique instrument.
Simplified it.
Of course, I think he's seen those before. I don't know if it's the spoons.
You know what he was originally signed to Motown for, though. You know what? In what capacity he was originally signed to Motown? As a harmonica soloist.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
And and you've heard him play harmonica. He's got such a distinctive timbre to his tone, and he's like that with every instrument, And and honestly, and not to my man is like that. Mosey is like that.
Yeah.
The cat is has mastered more instruments than you can name.
Well,
I
can almost.
It's so effortless.
I can almost imagine, but I have to ask. I know it's a softball question. What did it feel like to be standing there, with Stevie Wonder and Earth, Wind and Fire, Mellencamp?
Incredible.
Do you stop and think when you're up there doing your thing? Oh my God, this is where I am.
Yeah, it's really big, especially at the time it's happening. You're trying to put yourself in the spot of the person watching what's going on as well as the person experiencing it, and it's kind of confusing. So it's hard to take in. You're like, okay, I'm performing for these people, but wow, I want to see what it looks like because I want to see myself up there with John Mellencamp. Like, wow, that kind of thing. So yeah,
I can't even imagine. Bob Seger handed me my first Heineken. That's like the highlight for me right now.
Nice.
But that's a different show.
Shout out to the Motor City Horns, the Bob Seger's touring
Very
horn
nice.
section
Very nice.
out of Detroit.
It is movie night with JL Media. We are here at Hamilton 16 IMAX, our home for 2017 and beyond. I'm hoping, Mitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, we hadn't talked about the next contract yet, but we're not even in the middle of this one, right? Tell these guys about Flashback Cinema here at Hamilton 16.
Well, sure thing. Flashback Cinema is where we bring in classic films for the public to see on Sundays and Wednesdays at 2 and 7 p.m. Our schedule coming up is pretty cool. There's a couple in here you might like, Johnny. We've got Godfather on March 19th and March 22nd. We've got Singing in the Rain March 26th February 26th and March 1st. Rear Window March 5th and March 8th. Where's Mandy at?
She's over here hiding behind me. She's doing some Facebook stuff.
We've got Dirty Dancing March 12th, March 15th, and Young Frankenstein, the classic comedy, Mel Brooks, on March 19th and March 22nd.
Now, I love movies, and of course, I have my whole life. So to be able to see these older movies back in the theater again, it's just amazing. I can't comment enough. Back around Halloween, the original Halloween, saw it right here in the theater. It's even better than it was in '78.
Absolutely. Those old Hitchcock films, like Rear Window, and
Right.
and not to mention the shows.
You gotta get a live performance here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we should remake that.
The Great Wall, they were telling me that they have a huge cast of extras. Not only the CGI that they do, which I'm sure they have to, but there's a huge cast of extras in this. Have you seen the movie yet, Mitch?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm hoping to see it soon. Kind of looking forward to it. I've been in a action mood.
Oh yeah.
So for sure, like
Did John Wick do that to you?
John Wick was so good. It's so much fun, and I grew up in the heyday of action movies. So I love to be thrilled, and I love the violence, and I love the perfectly placed joke to lighten the mood. I love all that stuff. I just love the genre of action movies. Period.
Yeah,
So
same here. Absolutely the same. Brian, do you have a favorite genre?
That's an excellent question, because I actually have sang and recorded a little bit of all genres. I went to the University of Kentucky for a jazz studio scholarship, playing saxophone. So I actually started out doing some jazz, but all along I wanted to sing, and at the same time I'd always been singing and so forth. But the great thing with that, it helped out with the songwriting classes, and
Right.
so I feel like everything was built to this day,
Actually, I was talking about movie genre.
movie genre.
But that's
what I thought.
First thing comes to my mind, genres is like music.
That's because that's what you're always thinking.
Well, I really like comedies. An old school classic
Yeah.
we were talking about the other night. Vacation,
Oh, yeah.
back in the day,
Yeah.
that movie's so funny.
Yeah, still a classic today.
Oh
so.
yeah.
But that was a perfect segue into country funk.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about this single.
Well,
I'm going to leave it to you guys because I've only heard it like a dozen times. I don't know how the story went.
The awesome part I think about the song is it's crossing cultures, and genres and so forth, and it's not just one race. We're attracting people to the song and to the music that normally doesn't like country, and plus attracting the people that do like country as well, which is, I think, pretty amazing. And it was just one of those songs that it came out so quickly. We was like, wow, this got to be something special. And then working with Mosey, it brought the funk into the country for sure. So
Who wrote it?
collaboration.
Yeah.
All three of you, or is there more?
It was I, Jared Spoonmore, and my boy right here.
Was there an inspiration
Smoothie.
behind the song?
Well,
We wanted to have fun, I think.
yeah.
We wanted to do something that was fun and that would be fun to play on stage and fun to see in a video, fun to hear. Just that energy.
I'd been writing some lyrics, and Mosey was like, Are you serious about those lyrics? I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm from the country originally, Mosey. I was like, yeah, these lyrics are for real. So he's like, all right. So we get back to the studio, and Jared gets out the guitar, and I'm writing lyrics and putting together a melody line, and Mosey's laying down the rhythms and the bass, and the song came together so quickly. It was and guitar, yeah.
And me and Jared was playing the guitars together, trying to figure out like the parts and everything, and we were all standing in the middle of in the room, just going, just trying to figure it out. And he would write the lyrics as it go, and then like part way through it, like we were like asking Lulu what would she think that the style is, what does this sound feels like, and she was like immediately she said country funk, and we looked at each other and was like country funk. So then we really just took it from there, and you know, any idea we get, we always take it and run with it.
I see.
Yeah,
well, you mentioned video a minute ago. This would be fun in the video.
Right.
Is this what we're doing the video too?
Yeah.
That's
one of them.
Can we talk about the video? Brian's looking at me kind of.
Oh, you talking about the one tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Yeah, the one, you're looking at me cross-eyed. I'm side-eyed. Can we not mention it or?
No. Oh no. The video shoot tomorrow is going to be fantastic. So. Definitely everybody that can make it out. It's going to be at Mike's Dance Barn in Little Nashville, Indiana. We've got a professional dance team coming down from Fort Wayne, the Pulse Performers, and they actually wrote a line dance for the song, which is going to be pretty cool. And
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we've actually got the country funk line dance song that's going to be going live after the video editing from the shoot tomorrow, and we've got people coming from everywhere. We've actually got people driving all the way up from Alabama to come to the video shoot tomorrow. Nice. So
that is absolutely amazing. Now, the single, of course, is Country Funk. Is there an album behind it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've got right now. We started in November, and you know, unlike some sessions where you might record a little bit and take some time away, Mosey and I and the musicians and the performers, it's been almost a 24/7 ordeal with the songs. I mean, we have been continually writing, and right now we have about 16 songs that are complete. And the other single that we have that I think is going to go really great is When You've Had Enough.
Yes.
And that was the slow song that we did the video to earlier today.
Yes.
And that features Derek on the strings as well.
Now, are all these songs and the album under the Summit Band?
Yes, it's Brian Smoot and the Summit Band.
Okay, now is this something that you've been doing for a while, or did you just put it together for this project, the Summit Band?
Yes, it actually came together in the middle of doing the project. It originally started as a solo project for Brian. And but we all felt so much love and so much like unity in what we were doing. We felt good making it like a band situation.
Right. Now you're back in from LA, right?
Yes.
Are you planning on staying around? Are we going to do some gigs here? Or are we going out there? What are we doing?
Well, some of everything. I have a record label called Funkhouse International Records, and I have artists all around, even overseas, and so I have a whole bunch of artists here in Indiana. So I'm going to build. Me and Brian, we're building a studio where compound where we could, you know, house everyone musically and try to, you know, make it that energy out here that's kind of like in Hollywood that they don't really have here. But we want to try to create that kind of vibe here where we can bring the music business here instead of having to reach out to them, you know.
Absolutely.
Give them a little more outlet.
I've actually heard a lot of feedback actually in that direction. I mean, obviously, you know, Sweetwater's kind of a legendary place, and I know there are some local operators and things like that, and guys that are doing things.
Right,
but I've talked to a lot of musicians in the community who talk about the fact that it's so hard to break out, and it's not just in the music business, but also there's a lot of filmmakers in Central Indiana, and a lot of people that want to go pro, don't necessarily want to leave home.
Right.
And so I think that fill a need, a real need for some people. I had a question, if you don't mind, Johnny.
Absolutely not, brother.
So, my uncle is a musician and has been for many years, operating out of St. Louis. And I always asked him, what his dream project would look like, what his dream band would look like. And he said, you always want to be in the room with a bunch of cats who are very versatile. And so my question is, sitting in front of a bunch of gentlemen who have a lot of background and versatility, do you ever feel in the process of particularly making a record that it is challenging to try to stay within the confines of genre? I mean, are you trying to expand? Are you trying to create your own thing? I mean, what when you're trying to find that right flavor and the number of tracks that you're putting together for a record, how do you go about choosing tone? And I've always been interested because you can kind of do whatever you want, right? Like,
right. To me, I'm gonna let you do your spin, but my spin on it, I try to create. If I'm in a certain genre, I want to give a familiarity to it, but I definitely want to have our own spin on it, you know, and experiment with tones and you know, doing things that are not commonly accepted or liked, you know, just to give it a little more flavor and reach more people. Because what it kind of tends to do when you zero in on one particular sound, and you get a lot of people doing that sound, for one, it's hard to distinguish who's who, and it leaves a lot of lanes open, and leaves people wanting to hear certain things, and you know, I miss such and such, you know, because there's no one filling that void because certain people want certain things, and you know, it just keeps you confined. But we try to stay away from that. We really try to go with our hearts and you know, of course, some things we don't let like ridiculous things happen. You know, we some things
like cowbell.
Yeah, you know.
Can we get some more cowbell? You know.
Yeah.
That's funny. That was actually one of
That
the
was
jokes
actually
in the
I was
studio.
about to say that. Someone said
some more cowbell,
and I turned around like, what?
I was like, that'll make it country. Just put some cowbell in it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you had to put country funk into one genre, it's impossible. I mean, there's like 6 of them that I heard. And I understand where that comes from. You know, country boys grow up listening to more than just country. So when they become musicians, they take all those influences and mesh them together.
Right.
Which has changed the face of country music.
Yes.
Are any other genres, in your opinion, changing the way country music has? I mean,
think
pop is still pop, rock is still rock, ish.
I think that you know, there's a huge change in country music right now. I mean, you're seeing a lot of, as you're talking about, a lot of the different genres, and with the album that we're putting out, we actually started out, you know, with a song that was. I woke up one morning and go into the studio, and Mosey's playing this beat, and I was like, well, what's that? He's like, that's a beat and so forth that I put together this morning, and
just to test the equipment.
And immediately the hook came out within 5 minutes, and he's like, yeah. So right off the bat, we had a kind of a hip hop country song right out the gate.
Not even trying.
Without even trying, it came so easily, and so you know, I write. A lot of different country music, and then with Mosey and Derek and Lulu's influence, Lulu's blues. So we actually have a track on the album that's a blues type of country music.
Right.
And Mosey's got a track that it's been kind of fun. Mosey's like, I'm going to learn your voice, Brian, and I'm going to sing these songs in your country tone.
One of these days I am
and
going
you won't
to
even
learn
know
your
it's me.
voice, that's for sure. One of these days I'm going to learn your voice, Brian.
So Mosey, he decided, he's like, all right, well, we're gonna do an R&B and a hip hop country song, and so Mosey's like, here, I want you to check out a song that I wrote, but I want you to put your voice to it. I was like, he said, but you got to sing it like me first. And, you know, Mosey's singing with Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's quite a challenge. So I was like, all right, call me in a couple months here. I'll get this track down. But I said, you know, it's going to be funny. I'm going to be singing like Mosey, and he's going to be singing like me. Yeah. We'll just switch up in the middle of the show.
Derek, are there any country influences in your world?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I play an instrument that has a rich and storied history and sort of co-creative process with country and bluegrass. And so I think, you know, my style of play is very much informed by country and bluegrass and, you know, like, and fiddlers.
Right.
You know, I mean, I in a sense I have like the twin currents. My father was a jazz musician, you know, so I've looked at the instrument through it from a jazz perspective, but I'm classically trained, you know, but the fiddle is something that's, you know, it's very much It's in my DNA.
Now, am I correct in assuming the only difference between a violin and a fiddle is how it's played?
No, the biggest difference between a violin and a fiddle is that a fiddle's got a red neck.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Hey, scratch that track. I did not realize that. We're going to have to record that song over, guys. It's a country album.
Beautiful. That was beautiful.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself.
All the country fans are going to dig that, too. That was absolutely It is movie night with JL Media, Hamilton 16 IMAX in the Hamilton Town Center. Good, rich quality theaters. We are sitting with some very interesting gentlemen. Mr. Derek Reeves.
Yes, sir.
That's good enough. Mosey.
Great to be here.
And Brian Smoot.
Yeah.
The Summit Band. Man, Miss Lulu doesn't have a mic.
Summit Band.
I wish I knew she was going to be here. I'd have her a mic set up, but next time.
Of course.
Next time we're going to do that.
Yes. Very amazing talent.
No,
No
we
doubt.
absolutely, without a doubt.
She's not giving us the side eye at all.
So she is involved in the writing process as well. Do you work out a lot of things in the studio, or do you go in there pretty much ready to go? This is your studio, correct?
It's in the house.
Yeah.
We wake up to
We
it
built our own studios.
until we
Funkhouse.
drop.
Oh, that sounds like me. That sounds like me. Again, with no talent, but that sounds like me.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere because it gives you a lot of time to zero in on things that you can't do paying $50 an hour at somebody's studio, you know.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and the producer with your cred, I mean, could you trust another producer without you sitting right there?
It's hard.
With
It's
your
hard.
music?
It's hard.
Is there anybody
hard.
out there that, I don't know, that you admire producer-wise?
I admire a lot of producers, but I think one of my favorites is Quincy Jones,
Okay.
and of
Shout out
course
to Quincy
Prince.
Jones.
Yes,
No
yes,
doubt.
of course
No doubt.
Prince and Michael,
Thriller.
Babyface,
Oh,
Baby-
absolutely.
Yes.
Another Indiana connection.
Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to ask you a
Lot of
serious
good-
question,
Stevie.
Mo.
Huh?
Is there anybody that you think is overrated,
Overrated?
producer-wise? We could be here for a while.
I hear that.
You know, I don't speak ill of people, so I'll just kind of say there are people who haven't quite got it yet,
Uh-huh.
and they're being exploited by the record labels because of various reasons. They may not have their business together. They may be easy to get in a situation where the label gets more money. There's a lot of variables that go into that, why those people get more publicity, you know.
That was a very kind and diplomatic way to put that, man. That's in that business, right? Keeps you out of lawsuits. I know.
Exactly. I learned from Tupac.
Mitch, we got any musicals coming down the pike, man?
Yeah.
What's coming up with
For
the
sure.
Well, we just had La La Land. Anybody see La La Land?
It's on my list.
Is it?
Yeah.
Nah, it did pretty well at the theaters. It got a lot of great reviews, and I know a lot of people who loved it. I just can't see Ryan Gosling singing.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you see it, Johnny?
it's cool.
I did
It's-
not yet.
It's cool because it's kind of a love letter to musicians. I mean, it's a when you talk about, I feel like such an idiot talking about this in front of professional musicians. But jazz is musicians' music. I don't know how else to put it. Like you got classical end of the spectrum when you're talking about contemporary and or modern or even really American music. You got to talk about jazz and.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
and it's about jazz, and it's about a guy who is a purist, and sees the evolution of jazz, and what that and it kind of rankles him a little bit,
right.
and it's about his journey told through the musical love story.
What instrument does he play?
I have not actually. I was thinking about that when I was over here. I have not seen it all the way through, so.
So is he an aficionado or is he an actual player?
He's a player.
He's a player, but we don't know. It's not clear what instrument he plays.
I think it's a trumpet. I think he's a trumpet.
Does he
player.
have like the lip thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
So
got-
some sort of embouchure
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
But it's.
I have not seen. I can't think of the last musical I saw. Of course, I grew up with Grease and stuff like that.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
you
the last
got
one I
that.
saw was The Wiz.
Oh, that is going back. Yeah.
I won a karaoke
Not a fan of
competition years ago, and up in Wisconsin, and we were up there ended up going to the Mall of America, and Mariah Carey was doing a CD release, and my dad and I ended up getting pulled out of the crowd, and so I got to be there right when Mariah walked by and so forth. But I ended up winning a karaoke competition, and that was my first. My prize was 2 tickets to the musical Grease. Well, my mom was there. She went to the Mayo Clinic, but she's much better now, and so I ended up having to go to a musical with my dad. I thought, well, that's just I don't know. I was like, well, Dad, we're gonna watch music, and I'll tell you what, it was fantastic. It really was.
That's such a fun flick.
When we were first getting started out, I had a partner in the business, and we'd go out to visit different bands and everything together, and that's how he would introduce me as his partner, and I had to break him out. That's a different world we live in, bro. We can't do that anymore.
It's different now.
It's a different thing. It is Movie Night with JL Media. We do this right here with Mitch twice a month, all through 2017. Is there any movies that are coming out you guys are looking forward to? I know all the studio stuff you're doing that you don't have time
I never
to
have
do movies
time.
like we do.
So true.
I never have time. I have to download mine from the internet
Right.
and watch when I have like a free minute, and I never really get to watch a whole movie.
I still need to see Hidden Figures and Twilight.
Twilight.
Is that the one?
I hope not. Hidden Figures is a phenomenal movie.
Yeah,
man.
I still need to see
Yeah.
that one.
Mo, when we were younger, we had the albums. You know, when you buy an album and it had the cellophane and you'd open it up and you'd be so excited, and the smell of it, you always smelled just like baseball gloves when we were kids. You know, you'd open it up, and if you were lucky, there'd be extra pictures and an insert.
Right.
And we were loving it, right?
Right.
It's the same thing with movies in the theater. That's exactly the way they were supposed to be shown.
Exactly.
We got to get you out and show you a movie or two.
I know. I'm too much of a hermit. I'm a workaholic, though.
I am, too. Luckily, we do a lot of location stuff, and we can come and experience all this
That's
stuff.
a great idea, yeah.
Yeah, but it's art. You have to go to a theater. It's just part of life, period. That's
Right.
the way it's supposed to happen. Right, Brian?
True.
Hey, and at the IMAX Theater here in Noblesville, it's a really awesome venue. We're pulling up, and I thought, wow, this kind of feel like you're kind of in Hollywood with the big theater and all the people here and so forth. And so you've got a great venue.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate that.
They've done a lot of events here. I was actually here probably 10 years ago. I was an extra. I had a tuxedo on. They had a red carpet out here at the front where they were filming a music video, and I was security on the red carpet. And that was before I knew Mitch and or anybody here, and I just thought it was great, what they have going on here. But they've had all kinds of events. It's not just going to the movies and getting this great food. There's a lot going on here. My favorite theater, without a doubt. Before you guys leave, too, we want to show you that 3D screen up there. That projector.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some good stuff. I'm sorry, Mitch. I just loved you.
No, it's cool. And I got to say something, too, because I feel like an idiot if I don't correct myself. He plays piano.
Piano. Okay.
So, not a wind instrument at all.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Mitch.
Oh, La La Land. That's what
pleasure.
we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're blowing.
I forgot what it was we were talking about. Once again, Hamilton 16 IMAX is Movie Night with JL Media, one of the 9 shows currently under the JL Media Today banner. I say currently, Mitch, because we're in talks for 3 more.
All right.
This is what we do, Brian. This is what we do. So you said you had 16 songs recorded.
Yes.
Are they ready to go and done, and are we still working with them? We're not going to put 16 songs on this album.
Well, we
Got about
might.
half of them.
We'll put a good majority on there. We've got so much creativity in the studio. It's just been an absolute amazing experience. And I was telling Mosey, I was like, the studio. What was it down in Alabama that I'm trying to think of?
He's trying to think of something.
Oh my goodness, cannot think of it. Sweet Home Alabama, where they recorded that.
See?
Oh, okay. Is that
Muscle Shoals?
Muscle Shows. I told
The
Mosey-
non-musician in the group guy.
Oh my goodness, I tell you, it's been a long day. We just got through shooting a video shoot earlier today in Indy, and but yeah, talking to Mosey, I was like, I really get that just hair tingling feeling that we're creating something similar to Muscle Shows with multiple genres, and the music.
That's
is
what
just,
they did in Muscle Shoals, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Did you see
that is
the
right.
documentary on Netflix entitled
not.
Muscle Shoals? It's like 2.5 hours maybe. Every single song that they talked about was one of my flipping favorites. I loved it.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a really good documentary. We actually premiered it and showed it here, and then we brought it back as part of a documentary series. It's a cool movie.
Well, you need to call us the next time you're playing it. We'll come here and we can watch it on the 3D
right on
screen.
We'll get in there. GDX is what we'll do with 60-something speakers in there.
Yeah,
There you go.
That would be phenomenal.
Jam it out.
Now you're
Absolutely.
talking.
Mo, don't worry, brother. It's on Netflix. You can watch it at home. You ain't got to leave the studio. Brian and I are going to be up here where we belong.
Oh, you got that
I
track
got to
recorded yet?
I gotta get out. I gotta get out. Let me out. It puts this lotion on its skin.
So you guys are doing all this recording. Are you playing out anywhere now? Are we trying these out? Or
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
We're getting the songs. We got about half of them completely finished and mastered and mixed. The other ones we still like really trying to develop and tighten up.
Uh-huh.
You know, get the best things on it. And it's kind of difficult with me going back to California. But I have so many open projects going that I have to try to spend as much time on each as I can. I have I'm like working on an album with, I don't know if you know Morris Day from The Time.
absolutely.
yeah.
I'm working on his solo project where I wrote and produced the whole thing, and they've dropped a single. I think it may have been earlier this week. It's a dedication to Prince,
Right.
Wow.
and it's called Over That Rainbow. And they're doing like, you know, a little soft push on it right now, but they're gonna do a full promotion on it. But I have that going, and it's, you know, it's not completely mixed. You know, the album is not completely mixed, and I got artists that I'm finishing products on and shooting videos, and so I'm back and forth. But I think, you know, probably by my next visit we'll have everything completely done and ready to, you know, to go.
Sure,
So we're developing so many things at one time that, you know, the website, the merchandise, everything, because we really want to do this the right way. And, you know, not have to do it. You know.
Well, I understand about open projects. I mean, I do several shows on a regular basis. Got a Walking Dead show. I've got a movie show. I got a conspiracy theory show.
Right, see?
That being said, it is a small world because someone who works for me, Miss Janae Michelle, said to tell you hello. Her and Rich Hardesty. I spent some time with Rich a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's my boy.
I haven't seen Rich in a while, man.
I said, yeah, I'm going to sit down with Mosey. I said, I'm going to meet this dude. She goes, oh, tell him I said hi.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Rich is
okay.
one of my best friends, man. Like I've known him since '98, and like we've been playing all over together. We did a bunch of records together, and I mean so much. In fact, somebody was trying to get me to do a radio show, and they wanted me to get some celebrities to come in and do some stuff. So one of my guys called around and contacted a guy who was Jay-Z's like right-hand person, right?
Sure.
So he's trying to get Jay-Z's number, and he was telling them about me, you know, Mosey this and Mosey that. And he goes, wait a minute, now is this the same Mosey that was playing in Bloomington with Rich Hardesty?
Oh, no.
That part right there. I was like, out of all the stuff I've done, he said Rich Hardesty, and gave him Jay-Z's direct number and Dame Dash direct number. I was like, wow. Rich has got a lot of influence all over. I really love that guy.
He is good people. He's got involved with the little business here, and I think he's doing real well with it.
Yeah.
But he is a past guest of Brother Beercast, and Janae is one of our sponsors. She does her own show called Hero Academy.
Okay.
Be Your Own Damn Hero. She's still doing the life coaching thing, man. That's her heart. She's not going to get away from that.
You tell her I said, what's up?
Oh, they should. Well, she should be listening right now. So.
If you listening, what's up today?
It is movie night with JL Media, and we're just jamming. We're just hanging out and chilling, I guess, right, Mitch?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Mitch is a musician as well.
Oh no! Don't do that to me.
Well, I mean, you're much better than I am. You know, he's just trying to dabble and get something going. But
See, yeah.
well, we're sitting with musicians. So
We're sitting with professional musicians. Like,
We're
I write trashy pop songs, the one take on YouTube. That's not, you know what I mean? Like,
They weren't always where they are now, though.
this fruit does not belong in the same cart. You know.
Hey, Mitch, you got your panel of judges. It's kind of like the boys.
God, man.
We're going to turn
I would be
around
more-
in
I
our
would be
chairs.
mortified.
If you could come up here and sing for us, we're going to turn around.
All
And
right.
I got to turn around because if it's funny, I'm going to be laughing. And I didn't want you to see my face.
Mitch is good people, and he does like most of us. You know, tries to get a little something going. I mean, he loves it. You know, he loves it. He's got more talent than I've got. I can give him that.
Are you a
I do,
guitarist, Mitch?
I do play a little bit guitar. I like to sing. So The guitar has always kind of been a vessel for singing, I guess.
Right.
I've never been a particularly talented musician on the guitar, especially so. But I do love to play it. I find that playing music is such a healthy and honest. I don't know, like a form of expression.
Yeah, it's part of your heart, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love my loud, noisy, fast rock and roll. And I turn on my little bitty Marshall, and I turn on the distortion, and I rock out, and then I put it down for a while until I need it again. And I'll know. My wife will be like, "Go play guitar." You know what I mean? Get it out.
Working that stuff out. Yes.
Absolutely.
Wow.
See, I have no vessel like that. My vessel is work. I am addicted. I love what I do. I love the live shows. I love the networking. I love the recording, even the editing. Sitting in front of a computer all day long.
All day long.
Fixing my flubs, which happened quite a bit. I got to be honest with you. But I'm very happy with everything JL Media's got going on. We've been extremely lucky, and so glad to have you guys here tonight.
So glad to be here. Thank
Great
you.
to be here, indeed. Thanks for having us.
Tell me about your website. Or the Reverb Nation.
You can go to briansmoot.com. It's still a work in progress as everything is really kind of a snowball effect. I mean, it's taken off so quickly. We've drawn in people from all over that are starting to follow the music, and so you can go to briansmoot.com, and there's links on there to the Facebook, to the Twitter, to the Instagram, and so forth. If you go on Facebook, you can look us up, Derek Reeves, Mosey, MD.
And MOEZMD, Facebook and Twitter.
And Brian Smoot Music. There's a couple Brian Smoot profiles on there. And but yeah, if you go to the Brian Smoot Music, you can get direct access to the music and everything that's upcoming, as well as the website is going to be updated with all the upcoming events as well.
Don't pick the Brian Smoot one with the swimwear. He don't.
Derek, have you got something on the side, brother? Another website?
Well, I've got like an artist Facebook page.
Okay.
And my Twitter handle's at Derek Reeves, DerekReeves. Look me up on Instagram. Hit me up on Facebook.
Are you real? It sounds like you're real active on the social media.
Well, yeah. I'm a big networker. I mean, as a very busy performing studio artist in Fort Wayne, I play with like the Alicia Pyle Quartet. Well, that's another AliciaPyle.com, APQ Harmonic, Mimi Burns Band, MimiBurns.com.
Wow.
So yeah.
Hey, Mimi, how are you doing?
There's a lot of talent sitting here, Mitch.
Shout out to Mimi.
Absolutely, man. That's pretty neat.
Dude, Derek played with Stevie Wonder, man.
Yeah.
Mo played with Earth, Wind, and Fire, Mellencamp.
Yeah.
And now he's playing.
That's rad.
Dude, Mo
Wallflowers, that's right.
Wallflowers?
Wallflowers, too.
Oh, my. We didn't even get into the Wallflowers, and we're running out of time here.
Or Michael Jackson.
And the Jacksons.
That's a whole nother show.
And Mo played with Rich Hardesty. So there you go. Moving now with JL Media right here at Hamilton 16 IMAX. Contracted through 2017. Twice a month, except for the next coming up months, we got 3. I'm going to ease some more in there on you, brother.
Yeah.
I love doing this show, so we're going to do some more for you here.
It's going to be a good time. We got such an amazing lineup. March is full of good movies. Like, I just get excited because sometimes, man, the good movies slow down a little bit. I mean, I love all the movies, but I love it when we have quality films to show. And March kicks off with a bang with Logan, which I'm really excited to see. Beauty and the Beast is in there. I'm really kind of excited for Kong Skull Island.
Oh, as am I.
I mean, I love the classic monster movies, but Samuel L. Jackson, I will watch him do anything. He's so amazing.
Dude is a phenomenal actor, and I'm ready for a Kong without Jack Black. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah,
we don't need
sure.
that again. That was
well, and I think what they're trying to build up to is a King Kong versus Godzilla.
Oh,
so I'm pretty sure this movie exists in the same universe. So I'm excited to see what they do with that, and I just, I love it that in movies right now, if they think of it, they can do it. That's one of the things, I know people complain about this digital special effects and things like that, but I love, especially as a writer, I love being able to see that if they can think of it, the artists can realize it and make it into something. So it's really cool. It's a cool time to be a movie fan.
It's a cool time to be alive. I love life. Brother, thank you for the sponsorship. Thank you for letting us do this here twice a month, and you're stuck with us now, brother. So.
Well, thank you, man.
The Summit Band, Mr. Brian Smoot, Mosey, and Derek.
Yes, sir.
Brother,
Thanks for having us.
Brother, thank you so much. Until next time, Movie Night with JL Media. We are out.